Hello, this is Dave Wilson with Studies Weekly. And I just wanted to take a few moments here and do a quick walkthrough of Studies Weekly online. If you are familiar with our Studies Weekly newspaper version, but not very familiar with our online tool, this will be very valuable for you because, as you will see, our online tool is an incredible complement to the newspaper. But it does so much more than just the newspaper alone. So I really encourage you to just take a few moments and watch this. I'm going to share a demo login with you that you can actually get in and play around with our online tool as long as you like. But our website, as you can see, is studiesweekly.com. And once you get there, just go ahead and click the login button right there. Now you can register for a free 30-day trial, and that will allow you to actually go in and add your own class, add your own students. Again, that's just a 30-day trial. But I'm going to give you a demo login. You don't want to add students or classes to this login because there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people using this exact same login. So just do not add any personal information to this. We go through periodically and remove any information that some teachers have gone in and added. But the username is CA Teacher, and the password is the word study. We do change that password every few months. So if it stops working and you still need somebody to take a look at this, you can email me. My email is dave.wilson@studiesweekly.com, dave.wilson@studiesweekly.com. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. And it's going to take us to our main demo page here. You'll notice that all of our grades K through 6, these are the English versions, are right here. So it starts with kindergarten, first, second, goes down to sixth. We also have 7th and 8th if you just wanted to take a look at that. And our Spanish is right down here. They're all in orange just so you can kind of see the difference. So I will go ahead and click into one of the grades. Let's click into first grade right there at the top. And one of the things you'll notice when you first come to this screen is all of our weekly units are right here laid out right on this home screen. Weeks 1 through 36, every grade level has 36 weekly units. You can see that there's a little title of what this week is about. There is this 4-prong arrow right here on the left that if you needed to move these weeks around, you can just click and drag those weeks and put them in any order that you want. And the order that you put those weeks in, that's the order that your students will see it in when they log into their account. Right here, I can turn individual weeks on or off, or I can turn all of them on or all of them off, and maybe just enable the week that I want my kids to look at. This is good because sometimes you do have kids that will like to go ahead. There's some coins that they can earn. And so this prevents them from going ahead and just focusing on the week that you want them to focus on. Over here, there's a test that you can turn on and off. You can do all of them at once or just turn certain ones on and off. I'll show you a little bit more about this in a minute, the student edition and the teacher edition. But for now, I wanted to scroll down here at the bottom and show you, because this view right here only tells you the title of the weekly unit. If you want to dive deeper and see all the standards that are covered in each week, come down here where it says standards correlations, click the view button, and it's going to tell you week by week not only what the title is, but a summary synopsis of what is going to be covered in that particular weekly unit. Additionally, you're going to see the standard that is covered. So I can click on a particular standard. It tells me what the standard is, and that it's also covered in all of these additional weekly units. So that gives you a good idea or a good view, rather, to go in and see all the standards that are covered. Let's go ahead and just click into one of these weeks so you can see an example. I'm going to click into week 33 on civil rights. And a couple things I want to point out right away. The text that is right here is exactly the same text that is on the cover of week number 33 of the civil rights. Even the picture is the same picture. But the digital version is going to look slightly different. than the paper version because it's more interactive. There's things that you can do and interact with it. If I clicked here, then that goes to the next. It's as if I'm turning the page. It's the that top article on the paper version. I'm going to go back here over to this home screen here. Let's go back because I wanted to show you. There was one thing I wanted to show you that was right on one of these right-hand columns called the student edition. So if we come down here to week 33, I'm going to click on student edition, and it's going to open that into this additional tab. While that's opening up, I'm going to go into the digital version because I want to show you the difference. So the digital version looks just like this, and then because these are younger grades, sometimes they're kindergarten, first grade, second grade, they may not know if they're holding the newspaper, they may not know exactly where they need to be looking. So you can open up this student edition. And if you have a smart board or projector, this makes it nice because this is exactly what they're holding in their hand. You can see that it's got the exact same text and there's the exact same picture right there, but it just looks like slightly different. So that's a good idea to open up another tab right there, and just that way you've got the student edition that's open right there. Now going back to this digital version, there's some really neat things you can do here. So number one, any of the pictures you can click on and it's going to bring that picture up full size. Now that's an incredible opportunity right here to go through and do a picture walk with your kids. I can click on this picture. You can see that it's graying out everything in the background. But what can you do now? There's a lot going on in this image. What do you see, kids? What do you think about? What do you wonder? And go through and do a 3, 4, or 5 minute picture walk. Let them ask questions about what is going on in this picture. Let them focus on this man's expression. He looks like he's sad or upset. He's looking down. Right here it says colored waiting room. What does that mean? What was going on in the minds of these folks during that time period? And then I want to direct your attention to this reader. So you see you've got a play button here. I'm going to go ahead and click play and show you what happens.
That's not fair. Have you ever said that? Lots of children have. That is because sometimes things are not fair. A long time ago, there were rules that were not fair. People had to follow those rules anyway.
So I hope you noticed that obviously we have this automated reader, but that is not a robot voice. That is a human voice. Every single one of our articles, we have paid actors that have gone in and recorded every single one. And so the kids are listening to this in a human voice. Not only that, we have a speedometer. So and in some cases that's a little bit too fast for some of your students, or if it's too slow, you can slow this down or speed it up. So let's go. I'm going to show you what it sounds like slowing it down. And you can actually do this on the fly. So I'm going to slow this down and read it again.
That's not fair. Have you ever said that?
And you've got all these different speeds.
Lots of children have. That is because sometimes things are not fair. A long time ago, there were rules.
So each student has their own login, and they can all change that speed to whatever is best suited for them. You'll also notice that I can highlight and annotate right here on the screen. In fact, let me just go ahead and delete that there so I'll just give an example. So right here, sometimes things are not fair. That's a great statement, a great statement that you can ask questions about. What are some things that kids know that are not fair? Have them go in. They can highlight this in whatever color they want to, and maybe they can come in here and type things that are not fair. And maybe just go through and because this is a younger grade, first grade, maybe this is a whole group activity. You can just go through and type some of those things that they think are not fair. And it's going to save that note in that annotation there. We are also Google Classroom integrated. So you'll notice this icon throughout the Studies Weekly experience, but this is a way obviously that you can go in, select your classroom, and then go through and then create an assignment, ask a question, do whatever you need to do. If while you're reading this article, you notice that there's a lot going on this screen, and if you want their eyes to not have to wander and focus on everything here, click here where it says reader mode. And that's going to open up that article full size. It kind of takes their eyes off of everything off the screen. They can still listen to the article.
Rules that were not fair. People had to.
And they can still click on that picture to kind of go full size. And then you click this X and it goes back down to the regular size. You'll notice this little star rating system here. This is for you. This is for the teachers and the administrators. This allows you to give us feedback very quickly and very easily. If you like the article, you want to give it 5-star, that's great. Anything less than a 5-star brings this window up, and you can actually select one of these reasons as to why you're not giving it a 5-star rating and actually come in here and leave some feedback and click submit. That is the fastest way to send us feedback, and it goes directly to our content team. They look at this all the time and they take it very, very seriously. And we've actually made a lot of changes based on a lot of feedback that we've gotten here. So we encourage you to go through as you read these articles. If there's anything that you don't like or that is a misspelling or whatever, please rate these articles, and we take that feedback very seriously. And then again, when you're done with that article, you can go on to the next one or the next one. And the next thing I want to draw your attention to here is a lot of the articles, not all of them, but most of them will have an intro video or bonus sources. Now, this one is about Rosa Parks. Now, Rosa Parks obviously is a very important figure in our history. So again, you can click that picture up, bring it up full size. I've got a little intro video here. I've also got additional bonus sources because Rosa Parks is such an important figure. I'm imagining you don't want to just go through this article and that's it. Call it good. So go into bonus sources, and you're going to see a lot of additional information that you can use to talk about Rosa Parks. For example, this little video, and I won't watch the whole thing, just a couple of seconds so you can see. And you can actually speed up and slow down the narrator in these videos.
One December day in 1955, Rosa Parks climbed aboard a city bus. At that time, the first 4 rows of all the buses in Montgomery were reserved for white people. African Americans like Rosa had to sit in the colored section, which was usually in the back of the bus.
So you'll notice we've got these incredible videos and they're usually going to be 1 to 2 minutes long. So they're nice and short and consumable for the kids. This one I can listen to in English or in Spanish. And below these bonus sources, I've got these little leveled questions. So I've got, and they're going to be leveled as 1, 2, or 3, which is usually easy, a little bit harder, and or medium and harder. For example, who climbed aboard the city bus? Now they want to make sure that they really listen to that source or read the paragraph or whatever it may be before they go through and answer the question. Because here's where they can earn some coins. And again, there's a couple of games that they have where they can go in and spend these coins. It's a lot of fun for the kids. But here's another, that's just a picture of Rosa Parks. Here's her fingerprint record. Here's Rosa Parks receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And then here's President Obama sitting on the exact same bus in the exact same seat. So there's just a lot of additional bonus sources that are available for you, these primary sources, to help supplement your lesson. And again, below the articles, you've also got these little formative questions to kind of test themselves. Are they understanding what they're reading? Here are my unit standards that I can see. These are below every single one of the articles. I've got a really nice lesson plan. So if I click on the lesson plan, now we do supply a teacher edition. And the teacher edition is going to have the lesson plan. It's going to have all the worksheets. It's going to have the answer key for the test. It's going to have everything you need. But we also have all of that right here online, just in case you can't find your teacher edition. But this is going to tell you what your history, social science skills or standards are, your ELA standards, your ELD standards, analysis skills. I'm going to get a summary of this week's lesson, a focus question, what is fairness? Here are some suggested literature, some words to know that will appear in that particular week. And day 1 should take about 30 minutes. It tells you kind of what you need for that, the materials that are needed. Here's my learning objective. Students will be able to identify fairness in rules and situations and apply them to real life situations. The lesson suggestion is to do it as a whole class. And again, probably because this is a younger grade, it's first grade. Lesson tasks. So introduce the vocabulary words. I've got a little chart that I can, print off and, so I can do rules and fairness, write the fair and unfair rules. Here are some cognitive complexity questions. So I've got, this one is for low 2, this one's for low 1, moderate 3. And I've got my English learner connection. So this is now differentiated instruction for universal access. Here's some below learner suggestions and for my gifted and talented. And that's just day one. And then you go into day two, and there's going to be a very detailed lesson plan for each day. I hope you are noticing how well this ties into ELA. Social studies is reading, it is writing, it's comprehension. This is very, very ELA heavy. Here are all of my content videos for this particular weekly unit, and here are my worksheets. Most lessons are going to have at least 3. A lot of them will have 4 or 5 or 6 different worksheets. So, for example, here is a quick little worksheet on Martin Luther King, past and present. Who was he? What was his dream? What is your dream? Let's see. Here's another one. And then you can rotate it here. Directions. Let's compare the past to the present. Read the study's weekly civil rights issue and write down the rules in society from the past and the present, and see how they've changed over time. So that's also a great little activity. And then your weekly assessment is going to be right here. This is the paper and pen version. You can just go ahead and print that out from here. Or if you want them to do the online version of the assessment, just come up here where it says edit test. And you've got this fully editable online test. So this happens to be an open response one, but you can edit or delete this question. There's a labeling type of a question. Here's a check all that apply, multiple choice. Here you can turn the test on and off, just like you could on that first page. But you can also click this randomize button. So that kind of changes the order of all the questions and answers. So it makes it more difficult for students to look at their neighbors. And you can add your own questions. So if you click add question, there's all these different types of questions that you can add. And then if you've completely customized this test, you can actually print that version right here. And then you can go and click reset and reset it back to its original view. Once they've taken the test, and again, this is Google Classroom integrated, you can click over here to test scores, and it's going to show you all your students, what their scores were. If they had any incorrect, it would show you what was incorrect, so you can sit down and review them with it. And if there were any open response ones, it would have you grade those manually right here. I can go ahead and click here, and I can email these tests out. I can print all the scores at once. I can allow a retake, either as an entire group or individually. And then just go back over here to the articles. If I scroll down to the very, very bottom, you'll notice that here's where you can see the standards correlations again. But also, we've got leveled readers. So you'll notice that we've got K through 2. We don't have the other grades yet, but these leveled readers are available to all teachers. So we've got K through 2 English and Spanish. So if I were to click on first grade, for example, now these do not necessarily line up with your lesson. These are just additional resources for you that are available for you to use at any time. So for example, this one says it's approaching on being kind. I click view. It's going to open up a leveled reader. And you can see that where I would just print this out and kind of fold this along the spine. And it's got a place to put my name in there. And then if I click on, let's click on one that's for on I am responsible. And there we go. This one talks about, I'm responsible. So you've got all these little level readers that are available to you. And then coming back up here to the top, you'll notice this search bar. This is a great place to go in and just search for any of our primary source content, because we have thousands upon thousands of videos. Some of our favorites we've put in this extras tab. These are the most searched up videos of all. And then also some of our newest videos. So for example, if you wanted to click on interviews, we've interviewed a lot of World War II vets, Vietnam vets, Holocaust survivors, Japanese internment camp survivors, people that have come, immigrants that have come from other lands that have kind of, or other countries that have told their stories. So if I were to click on this one, for example, and this one's only 50 seconds, but it gives you a good idea of how incredible our film crew is. We've hired a top-notch film guy, and he's a really, really incredible filmmaker. But this particular one is of a World War II vet who goes through and just quickly shares his experience of what it was like to hear that the war was over. Now, you can talk about veterans. You can talk about people that served in a war. You can read about it. maybe even show a picture. But when you show something like this, I want you to notice and think to yourselves, how much more of a connection will the kids have? Go ahead and watch this.
The best moment for me in the war was when we were out on patrol. It was a 6,000-yard patrol. We were to go out, bivouac, and come back the next day. And while we were out, we had a 300 radio with us, and they called us up and said the war was over. Apologize.
So I hope you were able to see the emotion in his face, in his eyes, hear the trembling in his voice. And he's obviously remembering something that happened 65 years ago now. But how real is that to him still, all these years later? And how might watching something like that change the discussion in the classroom about what a veteran is? Anyways, I hope this has been very helpful for you. I really hope that this is something that you can watch over and over and share with other people in the district. And if you do have any questions about Studies Weekly, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, my email is dave.wilson@studiesweekly.com. And hopefully you enjoy. So thanks again for taking the time to watch.